Schneider. Got beats, make it hit come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they finished change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael-Shawn and You guys know where to follow me. Whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days, my at name has not changed. It's bang right there under my finger at Mike Dugar. You can see it if you're watching us on YouTube. Seahawks Man is the name of the channel. That is Seahawks Man, the number 2 man. That is the same thing on our TikTok, same thing on our Instagram. Please go hit all those good buttons for us. Like, comment, rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. It means the world to us when you guys do that. It supports the pod. So thank you so much in advance for doing that. Chris, go ahead, talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Christopher Kid. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at CKIDD206. And that's CKid206.
Chris, the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. How's that sound?
Wow. Man. Fun for us. Shoot, man. More pods, more excitement. This is cool, man. We've been doing this for a long time, and we have been to some playoff losses, whether it's Green Bay, and been like, man, this team just isn't good enough, to being, wow, this team is arguably the best in the NFL and should run away with it. But obviously, the team in the AFC, that they're not backing down. They got some talent. They got a good defense as well. So when you look at everything that has progressed this season, I didn't expect a Super Bowl. I was thinking of a nice playoff team, maybe losing the wild card divisional round, and they exceed expectations, although they had higher expectations according to the video that they shared to everyone. Showed that, hey, when Mike McDonald got here, this was a standard, and they got to that standard. Now they're looking to go finish the goal and win a Super Bowl. So it's been a journey, but yeah, Mike, here we are.
You're going to the bowl, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I expected them to be like, I don't know, probably like something around what like Green Bay ended up being, like a pretty good team, but obviously, a step or two away from really being a contender. And then they did this. And we'll get into the game. You guys got a lot of questions about Sam, Riq, matchups, Super Bowl rematch, all this stuff. So I'll try to keep this like little opening we do for questions very short. Just want to talk about some, I was there today. So I always try to take you guys behind the scenes where I can. And I really liked that the world got to see just the mindset of the team and how it's not like, and it's how they function, right? So the reason I say that is I watched, or I could see it in front of me, Michael Strahan interview everyone after the game. And Michael Strahan, he hit all the right talking points I would do if I was the interviewer, right? Like he asked Mike McDonald, hey, you're going to the Super Bowl, and you guys were kind of afterthoughts in this division. How's it feel to like go through Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan to get here? And Mike was like, we do not care. Like, what are you talking about? It's always been about us. And that stood out to me because that's who Mike is every week. And we ask his press conferences are really boring because there are a lot of that. They're like, we don't really care about that. It's like, we're just care about us and our stuff. But it really jumped out to me because I basically asked Mike McDonald a version of that week 1. I was like, hey, how do you, before week 1, I was like, how do you feel about where you stack up in the division, with Kyle and Sean? And he was just like, to be honest, I do not care. Like it sounded exactly the same. It's really crazy. Honestly, you can probably pull it up on YouTube and put that in. It legitimately sounded exactly the same because it's real. I think they're here because they don't care about like dethroning the Rams, who won the division last year. They don't really care about like having to go through Kyle Shanahan. They don't really care about the pageantry of the playoffs for the most part. They don't really care about what the Niners got to say, what the Rams got to say. Like the fact that the Niners did a bunch of talking before the game, got their ass beat. The Rams did talking, particularly the DBs, and got cooked by Sam, who we'll get to. Like, the reason that you didn't hear any responses, not because we didn't ask, because they really just did not care. They really did not. It was just like, whatever. I don't really care what Cam Crow got to say. I don't really care what Jared Verse got to say, or Juwan Jennings, known as Juwan Jennings on this show. That's real. That's who they are. Same thing with Sam. Sam got asked by Strahan some version of like, "Oh, you silenced the critics" type of thing. Again, perfectly fine question. That is the narrative in this. I wrote about that. You guys will see it on my story that came out. Sam was like, "I just don't care. I care about the guys in the locker room, and that is the ethos of the team. That's the mindset, and that's why they're here. Because I do feel like while it's our job to have the storylines and the narratives, it is quite literally their job to not care. They're aware of them, but if you genuinely are just like, I'm blocking on this play because I love Ken Walker, like not because I want to get paid, not because I got to prove that like Ken is a bell cow back, or like I got to prove that we can run wide zone. It's more like it's my job to block for Ken on this play, and I do it because I love Ken. It's my job to run this clear out route because I know that getting Jax open underneath is the best thing for the team. I'm taking on this edge if I'm D Hall because I know that Ernest Jones coming in there and cracking Kyron Williams for a 2-yard gain is what's best for the team. And I'll do that every single play because I know that that's what's best for the team. And I love EJ and I love Ken and I love Sam. Like that's stronger than any of the external stuff. And you could feel it in the locker room. My favorite quote from today, everybody's in there taking selfies, hugging, like they won, right? So pretty joyous. My favorite thing from today, after Puka was ruled inbounds on their final play, and it was over. Ernest, I've never seen Ernest run this fast. He ran from like midfield all the way down to the south end zone, and just the emotions just pouring out. I think he hugs Julian Love, and he just barking. And I asked him about that moment, and he said, going back to Super Bowl feels great. He said it's everything, but he said honestly, I really am happy that these guys get to go to the Super Bowl. These guys that I just work with every day and I love and care about every day are getting to do something most people don't get to do. That he was like, if I never went back to a Super Bowl, it's fine. But the fact that these guys get to, that means everything to me. And that's really Ernest is the heartbeat of the team, and I think he speaks to their mindset. That's why they're here, is because everyone thinks like that. Cooper Kupp got asked this week about his storyline, like, oh, you're playing your old team in the NFC Championship. That's lit. He was like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm just one of 53 guys with a story. We all have a story. I have a story. Sam has a story, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's got a story. He said the real story is the Seahawks trying to go to the Super Bowl on Sunday, and he's right. And last anecdote, Jax was like, and I asked him how he felt. He was like, I feel amazing, but like, I'm happy for my guys, really. I'm happy for Sam. I'm happy for Coach Mike McDonald. Like, yeah, everyone felt good, but it was like everyone definitely felt it for the guy next to them. And you could feel that. It wasn't just on offense or defense, too. Like Kobe felt it for Ken, and Jax felt it for Spoon. And I could go down the whole roster. But you can feel that, though. I've been feeling it all year. But it really is not just the cliches. Like, everything's a cliche until it comes to life on the field. And what you're seeing is coming to life on the field. And it's really special. Because I do think if you lean a little too much into, like, the nobody believed in us with a little engine that could thing, you can get caught up in, like, too much of what other people say. You really do got to just, like, be doing it for your guys next to you. And when you are, you get games like these guys really don't flinch. This was a heavyweight fight. Stafford throwing haymakers, Sam and them throwing haymakers. It was another heavyweight fight. And it just never felt like they were going to lose, at least not to me. So, yeah, the emotions in there, talking to guys on and off the record, it was pretty special, especially hearing from guys who really cared about Sam. They were just like, that dude gives everything for us. So we're going to give everything for that guy. And we're going to go as he goes because we freaking love Sam Darnold. That's special stuff. Not to make this whole thing sound like an after school special where everyone just hold hands and loves each other. But I just wrote a book about a lot of these same sentiments, so I feel a lot of that same energy of like, they loved Marshawn, they loved Doug, they loved Mike B, who I saw today. They love Sherm, they love Cam. That's why they were willing to play with MCL sprains and dislocated elbows and bad shoulders and all this other stuff, because it was like, I love that dude over there. And I know he'll do the same thing for me. So let's rock, So We'll get into schematics and everything else and all the questions you guys have. But for the next, like, 2 weeks, I'm probably going to get asked on radio shows and everything, like, how did the Seahawks get here? The answer is what I just said. That's how they got here. They got here by fighting tooth and nail for something other than what anyone else says or any ego or any accolades, or anything. I got the worst quotes in the world from these guys when they all got accolades and stuff and have great. All the other quotes sucked. They're all like, "Well, I'm just happy for my guys, man." And you know what? The quotes suck, but they're real. And today shows what the realness of those quotes can manifest is you go out there and you go kick some ass, and you go to the Super Bowl. So that's how they got here. Is really that 12 is one ass cliche that I hate 12 is one. But it's real. It is real. It's as real as you make it, So yeah, that's how they're here. That's the end of my TED talk. I just wanted to get that off before we got to what Chris tells me is a bazillion questions and voicemails from you guys. So I'm excited for that.
Well, Mike, you hinted at it. Here we go. We got a lot of great voicemails. We appreciate each and every single one of you for leaving voicemails. I'll let you know now that a lot of the voicemails will cover some of the questions that were asked via Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. So do not feel left out. We're going to answer as many as we can, but a lot of them were answered via voicemails. And of course, we got to show love to our listeners that do call in. So here's our first voicemail.
Fellas, this is Ed from Renton. We are going to the Super Bowl. Now, what a game. I do have one question. Can we find some kind of mental conditioning coach for Riq Woolen so that he stops making bonehead mistakes or something? Love the pod. So glad we're going to the ship. Would have never imagined this 8 or 9 months ago.
Yeah, appreciate the love. Yeah, it's just an exciting time, man. That stadium was going crazy. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I gave Riq a hug today. I was so happy they won that game. I just did not want that. I did not want that sequence to be Riq's last time as a moment of the year. That because he actually played well after that too, minus the sequence where he gets the taunting and then they get a touchdown. Played well after that. But no one would have known that unless he actually made a play on the ball. No one would have. I had a homie. I'm gonna read you this. I'm not gonna read who it was, but I'm gonna read this text from one of the homies. When this happened, he says, "Mike, what kind of car Riq drive?" I was like, "That's a weird question." The next text says, "I'm about to go slash his tires." I was like, "Whoa,
Oh my God!"
but that's how mad everybody was in the moment. Like everyone is just furious. Everyone's furious. Teammates furious. Coaches furious. Fans furious. Just like, dog, how can you make that amazing PBU and taunt so long that you cost us a flag and then immediately give up a touchdown on the very next snap? Like that, I could feel everyone's blood boiling. I can see why him and Nick Evenward were arguing. Like that's just hard to swallow in real time. That said, I thought that honestly, this was probably the gutsiest performance from Riq and all those DBs, really. Because Stafford was on their ass today. Puka was on their ass today, and Devontae was on their ass today. And on several occasions, those guys clutched up, And I think to the point of needing like a mental conditioning coach, Chris, that's why I actually think their mental is just fine. For Spoon to have those plays that he had earlier in the game and then come up with the two biggest PBUs of his career, that is mental toughness. For Riq to have that sequence and then come back on the field the very next drive and play fine and stay on top of a deep ball to try to get him on a double move to number 15 wasn't having it. For Job to give up the plays that he did, and then on 4th and 4, he's like, "Come here, Devontae, you ain't going nowhere." That I think is the mental toughness of the whole DB room because it did look shaky there for a second. Puka and Devontae are very serious. They're very good. But honestly, Chris, I thought that was like their gutsiest performance, maybe not their best performance of the year, but probably their gutsiest by the corners because they gave up some plays, big plays, big plays. And then when it was time to like buck up, they got in the death zone and didn't let the other team get a game or a go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, football is one of those sports where it's very mental because as you saw with Riq Woolen, he was doing his thing, got caught in a moment, talking mess, talking to the sideline of the Rams, that is, and he got caught red-handed. And because he was still in a trance from what just took place, McVay was like, oh, hold this. Hey, let's attack him right now. He's not locked in. He's not ready for this play. And he gave up a touchdown. If Riq had that mindset to be like, you know what, I screwed up, kind of to what Mike McDonald talked about is you have a negative play. Well, how can you make a positive impact the next play, right? It's about moving forward. I think a couple of weeks ago, he talked about it on Seattle Sports when he does his morning show. He was talking about the negative plays and how quickly they can move on from that and make a positive play for the defense. Well, that was one of those scenarios where you'd want Riq to get out of his own head and make a PBU, make it 2nd and 10. But instead it was a touchdown. And to your point, Mike, yeah, their backs were against the wall a lot. But then when it got down to that 4-minute mark, plays were made by the defense, and that won them the game, the defense. I'm not saying Sam couldn't have come down the field and won them the game because Sam was balling on Sunday against the Rams. He had his best performance ever against this team, against a team that has his number. Didn't throw no interceptions, took care of the football. He did take a couple of rough sacks, but for the most part, he was dominant. He did his thing. The play action pass was working well. The run game was okay. Had a few flashes there. K9 was playing physical, and then to put it on a bow, yeah, the defense, they wanted a tough moment where it's up to them to seal the deal, and they delivered. As you mentioned with Spoon, after getting torched. I mean, fighting with Devontae Adams, you don't want to do that. He's just too shifty and too quick, and people are wondering, like, how is he falling? Because Devontae Adams' balance is disgusting, and you trying to hand fight with him, and he's already gone. So you're just fighting air, and you trip over your feet, and he has an explosive. And that happened, I think, twice on on Spoon. So some dudes are just elite. The good news is the Patriots don't have elite receivers. They have good receivers, but they don't have Devontae and Puka. And that's the Seahawks now can be like, whew, we got through a really good test. We beat a really elite offense with a great play caller, but now we got to focus on the Patriots and what they can bring to the table. So overall, the defense just, when it was time to step up and make plays, they did what they needed to do. And I'm sure every guy in that locker room is proud on how they responded. Not how they played overall, but it's about the response. Because at the end of the day, they're going to the Super Bowl, and that's all you could ask for, an opportunity to win the whole thing.
What's up, fellas? Driving home from the game. Holy crap. First off, Mike, so great to meet you before the game. Thank you for the book, my man. Thanks for signing it. It's great to see you. 2, my question for you all is, how the hell did the Rams do this again against our defense? What have they unlocked that they're the only team who seems to be able to get explosive and to make us not get a rush with 4 people rushing the passer? What did they unlock, and is that something the Patriots are going to be able to do in the Super Bowl?
Before I answer the question, I can't believe I forgot this. Shout out to everyone. I can't do all the names. Shout out to everyone who bought a book from me at Brian Nemhauser, the Hawk blogger, a Real Hawk Talk event, the live pod on Friday night down at right by the stadium on King Street. Overwhelmed with love and support. That meant the world to me. Just hearing all you guys, meeting everybody, just hey, everyone saying, hey, I love the pod. Been listening since this year, been listening since this, or oh, I'm listening because my cousin or my brother-in-law told me to check it out. You know, I sold like 3 dozen books over there or something like that, and sold some more at the game today. So shout out to everyone who bought a book from me today. Just said what up and show some love to Chris and I from everywhere. Again, it means everything. It does. Thank you so much. I still have books too, by the way. Still have books. I will ship books out. If you want one, hit me up, DM me. Yes, if you're overseas, I'll get you a book. More on that later. Just DM me. I don't want to spend too much time on the show, but I just want to show love with that. Now, as for the question itself, this is very simple. And Chris and I watch a lot of tape, so we know that it is this simple. The Rams do this to the Seahawks because they have Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams. It really is just that. I wish I could give you like some big like schematic breakdown. I mean, we did our standout play segment. That's on YouTube. That's our last show. Go check that out if you want to see some examples. But really, like I spent a lot of time on the standout play segment Friday, looking at all those end breakers that they were running. I'd have to go watch the film to be sure. Chris, I don't think they ran one of those. Said, oh no, Devontae caught one. He got one end breaker, and Spoon caught one. He got cracked. Yeah, or excuse me, Puka caught one. He got cracked by Kobe over the middle. That's 2 plays. they were bombing it on the Seahawks today.
Yeah.
Stafford will throw any ball anywhere. That's one. Puka and Devontae, particularly, they are good at what Chris was just describing with like hand fighting with Devontae. What you're describing there is play strength. Like they both. That's why the receivers do the bench press at the combine as well. Like obviously you don't bench press anybody on the field, but you're measuring strength. Devontae is strong. Puka is strong. They're strong at the point of attack. They're strong at their breaks. Like that dig route that Puka caught, I think he's being guarded by Riq. I want to say, like he was so strong at the break. That's why he was able to separate from Riq. And then Kobe came in here and cracked his ass, and he just held on to that ball and got up and was like, "What's up?" Like they have play strength as well, so you can't really reroute them. I mean, you can, but look what happened. Spoon jammed up Puka. Stafford's like, "I don't care." Bomb. That was on the first drive of the game or second drive, whatever. That's play strength. So they have that. They have an elite schemer, but really it's just that they have the best of both worlds. You got the guy you scheme up, Puka, you scheme him up, move him around, have him running by linebackers and stuff. And then you got the guy you don't scheme up anything for, Devontae. You just said, line him up, go beat your guy. Now that's just tough to deal with. And Stafford's always on time. He throws an amazing ball. Like Stafford should win MVP. Like this guy is Drake May is very good. But this Stafford guy, it's different, man. Like and the other thing is Stafford doesn't really put the ball in harm's way as much when he plays the Seahawks. For some reason, he throws like ball straight to DBs when he plays everybody else. But he doesn't really do that for some reason against the Seahawks, where it's just like, oh man, such and such should have had a pick. It's not, you don't really get a lot of that. You're like, oh, such and such made a great PBU, but it wasn't like, an obvious one at a DB drop. So it really is just that simple. Stafford's a badass. Puka's a badass. Devontae is amazing. Like it's really hard to shut those guys down. They're just too good. They're too precise with their routes. McVay's too good. And they played some zone today, but as Chris texted me earlier in the game, Mike Macdonald is very freaking confident that his guys can just cover them. And you know what? I respect it. I do. Because Mike Macdonald, for as much as the schemer he is, he plays these guys and he's like, screw it. Man, go win. I can respect that. But as Chris pointed out to me during the text me, he's like, I don't know why he playing so much man today. And the answer is because he thinks they can cover these guys. And like we mentioned, they did later in the game. But yeah, Chris, this is like probably the one of those teams where you do got to be careful how much man you play, because Puka and Devontae as a tandem is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, they're going to win a lot of their one-on-ones. That's a team that you want to play heavy zone, but you're also relying on your pass rush. And as you guys notice, Mike McDonald did not send a lot of pressure. I can't count how many times Nick Emmanwori was in the backfield trying to chase down Matthew Stafford. I might have missed a couple looking downfield, but Mike McDonald wasn't really sending too much at Matthew Stafford. He was relying on his guys to cover a man principles, locking down their guy, and trusting the four-man front to handle business, which they got one sack out of it. Shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence. They were to get after him, and he almost had a second sack, but somehow Matthew Stafford turned into Matthew Vick and was able to spin out of it for a first down on fourth and.
Wait, was that the only sack? The Devontae one? Excuse me, the DeMarcus, sorry.
I believe so. If I'm remembering correctly, that was the only sack. He either got rid of it.
That was.
Yeah, so while they didn't have a great day getting after the quarterback, they just found ways to win in other ways, which is PBUs. You also have, Mike mentioned, those two big plays by Spoon late in the game when the Seahawks needed a stop. And shout out to Parkinson, I guess. The Seahawks should probably show him some love because he, yet again, making a huge drop that could have changed the game. There was probably, I think, 3 minutes left in the game on that drop on, I think, second down. Or actually, that was a third down, excuse me, on that third down drop. Matthew Stafford. Yeah, Matthew Stafford ended up running for a first where DeMarcus Lawrence almost had him for a sack. But nonetheless, man, yeah, Matthew is elite. And the Seahawks responded defensively very well. Backs against the wall. They won it. They won all the smoke. So,
yeah, that's the death zone.
Man. Literally, that is the death zone. Well put. So, those guys stepped up and did it again. Do it one more again, and guess what? They'll be Super Bowl champs.
What up, Chris, Mike, AP calling from New Zealand here. I got 3 questions all about K9. Is he the Super Bowl MVP? 2, how does that affect their chances at re-signing him? And 3, why was George Halani out there so damn often? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to check the Super Bowl MVP odds. I would imagine that if they do win it, the MVP would probably be Sam. You're gonna have to make some throws against that Patriots defense. My other pick would probably be Jax because man, Jax is incredible. Jax is, oh my god. Do we have any questions about Jax? I don't think we did. If not, I would like to use this brief intermission to gush about Jackson Smith and Jigba, if you guys don't mind. Of course, you can't tell me whether you mind because it's a pre-recorded pod, but we'll get to Ken in a second. Dog, Jackson is incredible. Like that one-handed catch, that looked like there's a commercial. I believe it was with Stephon Diggs, and like the stuff is like sticking to his hands. I think he's like checking the mail. He does like regular person activities. This is when he was with the Vikings, and the ball like just sticks, or stuff just sticks to his hands because the point of the commercial is like, oh, this guy has sticky hands. That's Jax in real life. Like his touchdown. I got the game on replay right now, just rolling in the background. It's showing the one-hander right now, right on cue. That's freaking incredible. Him going up, Chris, did you see his route on the ball? He goes up and catches and get cracked, right? Man. The route, though, he had Cameron Curl back there doing the Tootsie Roll. Deep safety just back there, just wobbling. That is, yeah, no. This, what did Jax have? What is? Oh, you got a stat line right here on the screen. Thank you. 10 for $153 and a touch, making the DBs dance, one-handed catches, going up. Yeah, man, this guy is the best in the league. This guy, Chris, I don't know. It's unreal what we just watched from this guy, considering those DBs were talking so much stuff before the game. And for him to just be like, I'm about to just hit you guys. Little $150 right fast. Watch this. Like this, I don't know how you guard this guy. This guy is legitimately unreal.
You double team him and you let someone else beat you. The Rams didn't do that on Sunday. They screwed that. They screwed the pooch on that game plan. They did not execute. Hey, make Rashid Shaheed. Oh my gosh, he caught a 50-yard bomb. That was very impressive. The Rams didn't do that no more. They said, yeah, we're not going to press you and leave you one-on-one. You think? I couldn't believe it. I'm watching it line up. I'm thinking, nah, they're not about to leave him one-on-one. Because I saw the safety over the top, and he kind of just dropped down to cover, I think, a crosser. I'm thinking, oh, sure enough. And I know Sam was like, finally. And that was a big play because that was third down and got him in the first and goal, which allowed him to score that first touchdown on that first drive. So that was huge. It came in a big time. They finally connected. But nonetheless, yeah, JSN, he's a lead.
Hold on. Can I ask a question to you? Did they, to your point about the DBs, did they mention what the Rams were doing with their DBs in terms of their rotation on the broadcast? Like they were rotating DBs in game.
Yeah, so I know number one, I forget his name, but the lengthy corner, Forbes, he had a shoulder injury. I don't know if that played a role in it, but yeah, he was in and out. They were starting number 32, who was getting his fair short of barbecuing.
They started Darius Williams, number 31.
That's his name. 31, excuse me. Yep.
He gave up the deep ball. And then like 2 drives later, Roger McCreary is in. That's number 25. He got ran over. And then they go over to Forbes. And then I think they went back to Williams. It was just, I know why they were doing that. But yeah, they were just getting abused. Getting abused today. It was
rough day for Shula.
Yeah. You know what the Rams' one of their first picks is gonna be? Corner. Drafting a corner high as hell. I didn't know if they were pointing that out on the broadcast because it was so weird. They were just rotating their other corner every series and like not on purpose. Their DB coach was just getting mad and being like, all right, 25 you're in. All right, never mind. 31, go back out there. Number 1, how's your shoulder? You go back out there. I was like, this is a terrible plan, dog. This is the NFC Championship game. And you don't know who's going to start opposite JSN? You guys are cooked. Yeah, anyway, right. Sorry, but my tangent's over there. What was the original question about K9?
It was about K9, and then he ended with George Halani and why he's out there so much. And I'll say, shout out to you for being from New Zealand and showing love to the pod. I think you're our first New Zealander, so that's love. We appreciate it. It's very far from this place, so all the love for you tapping in. George Halani did okay. Outside of the drop pass, he was solid. But I have to go back and watch the tape and see where he excelled, where he can be better. But I thought for the most part, he was in there. He was fine. I know a lot of people were like, what the hell? K9, keep giving him the football, because K9, he showed some stuff. He had Mr. Spates lost one-on-one in the hole against a linebacker. And I feel like you guys remember X-Men 2, where the dude, I forget his name, but he has the ability to just disappear and then reappear. So like he just flashes and then he just pops up somewhere else. That's what that play looked like. He was standing there and then poof, he ended up 5 yards behind the linebacker. And the linebacker was like, where'd he go? Man, what? Oh, Nightcrawler. That's his name. Yes. So for all my X-Men people that have seen the second one, it's not the opening scene. Actually, it is the opening scene. Yeah. Nightcrawler goes crazy against the Secret Service. Because I believe in that specific scene, he attacks the White House. He's trying to send a message to the president, humans versus mutants. But yeah, that scene right there, that's what K9 did. He put an old Nightcrawler on the linebacker. But yeah, George Lonnie, I thought he was fine.
Yeah, George is out there because you got to use another back. I mean, you can't just play Ken every snap. You know, Derrick Henry don't play every snap. Saquon, like, other guys get carries, right? It's fine. Bijan Robinson gets other carries. Brian Robinson Jr. gets other carries. Or excuse me, Tyler Algier gets carries playing with Bijan, sorry. You know, the number 2 backs get it. But the other part of that was, does this impact Ken getting re-signed? I don't know what else the front office needs to see, because this is the very pro Ken Walker show, has been for quite some time now. But I am just glad that the front office is now, the coaching staff is getting to see more of why it was very not frustrating. It's the wrong word, because Zach deserves the ball as well. But just like, it just felt like they just had this Lamborghini sitting in the driveway and they were driving the Volkswagen to work. It's like, you know, if you want to get to work on time, take the Lambo out. You know, it was Ken's the Lambo. Very few people in the league have the athleticism that Ken has. I legitimately mean that. I'm never going to forget him getting a first down by flipping on his head in Detroit. They lost that game, so got kind of lost in the shuffle. That might have been that might be even more athletic than the Saquon hurdle, to be really honest. And then another one, I like your X-Men reference there, Chris. What that reminded me of what Ken did today. We should clip this, by the way. I'll find it for you. What Ken did to Omar Space today reminded me of what Marshawn Lynch did to Ray Lewis well over a decade ago. Just full on froze him. Just teleport. It's against a good player. Like that's what Ken's always been able to do, though. Ken wasn't having like a down year because he was not a good running back. He wasn't getting any red zone carries. Now what's he getting? Red zone carries. What is he doing? Scoring touchdowns. Like this is really not that complicated. Give Ken the ball more, he scores more. It's really not hard. So I'm very happy for Ken. I hope that they re-sign him for all the money, because he's a very dynamic player that they just don't have other guys like that on the team. And that's been the case forever. We're just seeing more of it now that unfortunately Zach got hurt.
Well said. That's 1,000% right, man.
Chris, Mike, Steve from Spokane. Huge victory for the Hawks today. Man, say something about Sam Darnold. The Rams have been that team for him, and there's been these turnovers the first 2 games this year. A clean game. Even to me, when he got in trouble, he took sacks. He didn't put the ball in danger, and he had a smart, level-headed game. What was your guys' take on Sam Darnold this week? And are y'all doing anything in Santa Clara next week for meetups for the fans for the pod? Let's hear it, guys. Love it. Go Hawks.
Appreciate the enthusiasm, Steve. TBD on our Super Bowl plans. Still working that out. Yeah, I'm not going to speak for Chris on this. I was wrong about Sam Darnold. That man can meet a moment. He can meet a moment. Sam Darnold played not just well today, but Sam Darnold over the last 3 games, the Seahawks just played about as big high stakes of games you can get. Play week 18 on the road. Winner gets the 1 seed. Sam Darnold plays well. You get the divisional round game. Obviously, that's winner go home. Sam Darnold plays well. You get the NFC Championship game in a game that pretty much was a shootout, or at the very least, it was very clear the offense was going to have to score points. It wasn't one of those grinded out ugly games like week 18 was. Like, it was very clear, like, oh, we need to score. Well, Sam throws for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Sam keeps meeting the moment. And he keeps doing whatever the game requires. And week 18 is an ugly game. Make some good throws, make some good decisions, run the ball well. These guys can't score on us. In the divisional round, same thing, really, because they also couldn't score then either. All right, well, this team can score on us. The Rams, I mean, we're fast forward. All right, well, we can score on them too. Right? You could feel the momentum in some, like the Rams kept swinging back. Stafford just was like, oh, we're down 11. Oh, pew, bomb. I think the Seahawks went up 24-13, I believe. I'm like, oh, this might get ugly. Stafford scored in like 4 plays. Just, couldn't believe it. Bomb to Colby, bomb to Devontae, touchdown to Devontae. We got a 1-score game again. What does Sam and them come do? I think they scored right after that. If not, they scored shortly after. I bring that up because I did not think Sam was capable of this in this moment. Mostly because I didn't think they put a roster good enough around him to do that, because I watched them just not be able to build it around Russ and Gino for years. So I kind of didn't have faith in John. Wrong about him too. So Mike's not right about everything. Some things, yes. Got a few things very wrong this year. But just mostly with Sam, like Sam's getting better as these games, the stakes get higher. And he hurt. He's hurt and playing better. Like he's getting sacked. He's rolling left still and firing. Like Sam is that dude. He's playing he basically went toe to toe with the MVP for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. You know, it's just in a game where he was not getting helped by like his defense. K9 did not go crazy on the ground game to help him out. It was pretty much, hey Sam, can you go win this game for us? Even Chris, I'm glad some people pointed this out in real time to us. That's how you know we got dedicated listeners. When they got the ball with 4 minutes and 54 seconds left, I was like, of course, the season comes down to the scenario that Chris and I have legitimately been outlining for like 3 months, where you have the lead, but you need to bleed clock, because an explosive just to jacks for 60 yards does not help you right now. You need to burn time, not just get yards. So what do they do, man? I'm going to read some of these here. I put it in my story, actually. It'd probably be easier to find them in my story. So they had, all right, so they had a 2nd and 6 from the 10. Darnold to K9, 15 yards. A lot of that's K9, but whatever. Still a good play by Darnold that they trusted him to throw it. Backed up in his own 10. 3rd and 7 from the 28. All right, boom, let me hit Cup across the middle. Tight window throw. Did he get the first? Who knows? Only Lord knows. Doesn't matter. Good throw by Darnold. They didn't, because we've seen Kubiak in those situations, like, let's play it safe. Let's call a screen. What? No. The screen game was working today. That's not the point. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Oh, let me roll out. Let me throw Sam again. Let me hit Jax. 2nd and 7 from the 48. It's all the same drive, by the way. Let me roll out again. Now he threw incomplete, but they got the holding call. Doesn't matter. The point is that they put the ball in Sam's hands. So by the time the Rams did get it back, the game was over. They had no timeouts, 25 seconds. They had to go 97 yards. They scored 93 yards, whatever to score. Guys, if anyone listened to the show for the first time, we could pull up the tapes. Chris and I have legitimately been talking about a scenario like this for months, where you cannot just bomb it to Jax and answer all your problems. You're gonna have to run it and make some throws and bleed clock. And Chris, I have a new favorite drive of the year. It was today. And it's a drive that included no points. It ended with a punt. And I was like, that's championship ball right there. That 4 minutes and whatever was championship football today. I couldn't believe that the season basically came down to that.
Yeah, that talks to their culture, their growth and belief in Sam. Because as you mentioned, we've seen them. They're going to run a halfback draw on 3rd and 11 and punt it away and say, defense, go do your thing. On Sunday, it's the Rams with everything on the line to go to the Super Bowl. They said, Sam, how about you deliver us a pass? How about you do this? We trust you in the pocket. We trust you with the football. That shows growth, because we can go back and find games where their Seahawks are up and they just halfback draw or a screen. They just gave up. But the play call and Clint Kubiak, those guys believed. They've seen it in practice. They probably felt a little something when Ernest Jones went off at the media talking about, if you don't believe in Sam, then F you. Maybe Clint was like, damn, maybe I should give him a chance, huh? You know, we got our linebacker talking out loud about how he believes in them. So we got to have that same belief. Not saying that the Seahawks didn't, but when you go and watch some of the game, it's like, yo, it's 3rd and 7. Throw the football. Get a first. Go to your top targets. Sure, you can run the clock out, but teams are going to be ready for that run potentially. They know you're trying to bleed the clock out, so they're expecting a run. But to go out and pass, play action pass at that, it wasn't if they was just dropping back. They was catching them slipping. They got a nice little pass interference, if I'm not mistaken. Cooper Kupp was being held by number 14 trying to get upfield. And if you're the DB there, you got to think, man. Cooper Kupp is 90 years old. He ain't got that speed no more. He ain't going to just run by you. You got to have some faith in yourself and keep up with him. Yeah, he got leverage on you, but if you young, you spry, you'll be all right. But he panicked, and he started holding auto first down. But that's the belief in the offense to say, you know what, Sam? Let's end this, man. Let's be able to take a few handoffs to K9. You know what? We'll punt it away with 30 or something, 15, 20 seconds left in the game. That's perfect. The defense is going to finish it up, and that's exactly what happened. So really great performance by the offense, and a big moment too with 4 minutes left to be able to get the ball moving. And when they needed to throw it, it was successful. So that was great to see. Now they just got to do it one more time, and then guess what? They'll be hosting up the Lambeau. So good on them. I know that has to feel good for the offense. I know the defense is loving it. So I'm excited to see what they do in the Super Bowl, because that's going to be a very fun one for sure.
Hey guys, this is Max from Kelowna, BC. Mike, in your book, you share an anecdote about, I think it's you and Riq Woolen in the locker room looking around and pondering how many crazy guys, quote unquote crazy guys, are in the locker room, and how that compared to the Super Bowl winning teams. My question is, how many crazy guys are on this team? Let's go. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Go Hawks.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, great callback to the book. Yes. So in whatever season Riq Woolen came back, I can't remember what season that was, but he was like, man, Mike, just look around. It's like, how many guys in here you think would just like punch someone in the face? You know, like he was basically just like, how many crazy guys do we have in here? And I forget who I named. There were some guys who I had seen punch someone. So I'm like, well, I seen Jaron Reed swing on someone. I think I've seen Daryl Taylor do it. Like I went through. So I was like, however many. And Luke was like, we got like 19 guys like that on the team or something like that. Some really big number. And so that's where the question comes from for those who haven't read the book. But this team, I'm not even sure how many of those type of guys it has. Maybe it's a single digit number, perhaps. Yes, yeah. Chris mentioned he came back 2019, 2020. I'm not even sure how many crazy guys there are in that way. Like Ernest is one, because I've seen Ernest punch a guy in the head. So I know he's that type of guy. But outside of that, just not really like guys with a screw loose, because there were some guys with some and screw loose doesn't mean like unstable. Like Percy Harvin falls in one bucket of that. But then also Cam Chancellor, right, is another guy who was like, I go into a dark place when I go do my job. That's a little nuts. But it worked for him. Ernest is wired the same way. This team, I don't think has that many guys. They don't have guys built like that. They just got guys who I think are they're just wired in a different way. There's this calm arrogance and togetherness to them where they're like, when I got my guys with me, we can't be stopped. Like, it's not a lot of like, I'm really great. It's like, we're really great. Like, I love talking to Byron Murphy about this, for instance. He's just like, this is the gang, like this being the D-line. Like when I walk into his corner of the room to go interview him in the locker room, I'm like, this is the gang right here. When I'm with my gang, we can do anything. Like that's just how he feels. And that's more so how guys here are wired. Obviously, they all believe they have individual talent, but it really is not as much of like, oh, we talk, or we're line steppers. There's not a lot of habitual line steppers here. You can even see it in the emotions. Like these guys turn up, but you don't really get like Riq, the only one getting taunting calls for the most part. Spoon should have as many as Riq, I think, this year. They just be letting Spoon just talk trash, whatever. But outside of Ernest, there's not a lot of like them type of guys on this team in that way. It really is a different type of cat, from Jags to even Coop. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Rashid Shaheed interview. Like, he's just very calm and workmanlike. K9 same way. Whereas that other group, there's a reason why they were fighting each other so often. I don't think we see as much like fighting and like line stepping here. Like, these guys enjoy a little bit more of like, all right, let me turn up with my gang when we get a sack. Let me turn up with my boys when we get a PBU, and less of like the more like I'm about to cross the line because I'm a line crosser type. And that's fine. I don't think it's bad. You can win a Super Bowl with either type of guy. But there's like a personality difference here. I think the only person who's like really, again, who's like wired very similarly to Legion of Boom is probably Ernest. Maybe Kobe as well. Kobe's not like it. You probably watch a radio interview with Kobe or something like that, and you're like, Mike, what are you talking about? Yeah, that Kobe is not on field Kobe, but otherwise, this is a different make. I love that question though, because it really they're two different defenses and teams that kind of came together in the same way. Like, love is still at the foundation, but there's not as much craziness, especially after like DK got out of here, because DK was like that too. I seen him hit his own teammate with a helmet. That guy's nuts in a good way though. But yeah, they just don't really have that anymore. That I don't think you can have too many of those on this team. You got to build this team a little bit of a different way. And I shout out to John and Mike for bringing in the right type of guys to make that work.
And shout out to you, man, listening from BC, beautiful British Columbia. Appreciate all the love and support, man.
Hey guys, Zach from Columbus, Ohio. Just so happy that we're in this spot, you guys. I mean, we can't make it up. I think that we got to give Riq Woolen some grace. It's a big game. Tensions were high. We gotta bring him up. I understand why Nick Eamon-Warry was upset with him in the defense, but good teams come to win. And so I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are kind of about Nick Eamon-Warry chirping at him on the sidelines. As you guys saw on the broadcast, he was pretty pissed off. Let's go Hawks. Let's go win a Super Bowl and bring it back to Seattle.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. Chris, I don't know about you, but now that felt a little Legion of Boomy. Guys arguing on the sideline, but I was all right with it.
I think it's going to bring them closer, because Riq's going to learn that you just got to keep your emotions in check. You don't have to bark at the sideline. You go back to your bench and bark at your teammates and let them know they can't try me. That is acceptable. To walk on to another team's sideline talking crazy is bold. Do it in front of the refs, insane. So he definitely crossed the line and he got penalized for it. But those are moments where I think, as I mentioned, guys just come together. Like, he knows he messed up. I'm sure after the game, him and Nick had a great conversation, or they just dapped it up and moved on, because both of those guys have to be playing elite ball for this team to do what they want to do. And if one guy is not doing their job, as Mike McDonald talks about, 12 is 1, then it won't work. So while it looked bad on TV, you needed that though, because imagine if they just act as if it didn't matter or they didn't care. What message is that sending? But Nick is a rookie and he understands the moment. He might not get this opportunity next year for whatever reason. So you got to live in the moment and be prepared for whatever. And in that situation, Riq just got lost in the sauce. And I'm not making an excuse for him, but you didn't want to search his name after that penalty and then give up a touchdown. Oh my gosh, they were ready to fire him on the spot. But you fire him, and now what? You're looking at Nehemiah Pritchard to come in. Is that going to put the Seahawks in position to win a Super Bowl? Albeit, Mike McDonald will tell you, we believe in the guy. We got to put him in certain situations so that Nehemiah can execute the defense accordingly. But you need to be out there. He's really good. He's shown it throughout the season. That was a really bad moment. I guess I can say moments, but you move on from it. They're playing in the big game. And now for Riq, it's about learning from that mistake. Okay. If you're going to chirp, do it on your sideline. Talk to your teammates about how they can't throw on you and all that. Don't go telling the Patriots about it, because then guess what's going to happen? You're going to see another flag. So I think it's a learning lesson for him. I'm glad that the Seahawks were able to win the game, because my gosh, as you mentioned, Mike, earlier on in the show, that would have been his last little reel. barking, saying, don't throw on me, whatever it may have been. And then they go right at you and throw a touchdown. I don't know how many teams are going to be excited to bring you in. You just made yourself very difficult. Now, obviously, your speed, your IQ, your ability to get your hand on the football changes the whole dynamic of this conversation. But those last plays could haunt you, but that's not the case. So I understand the question and why you're like, yeah, we should lay off them. I completely agree with that. I'm just happy the Seahawks won because it'd be very tough for fans and teammates they'll figure that out. That's what they do. They've been in the blood, sweat, and tears and fought together. They will figure it out. But for the fans, oh man, Riq wouldn't be able to go on social media for the rest of the year. He's gonna have to make up for it at some point.
Yeah, that'd have been rough. Yeah, I mean, you got to have brothers fight. I'm an only child, but I mean that's the simplest way that I look at it. And I've seen guys. I remember D Hall and like Jay Reed got into I think that was last year or a couple of years ago on the sideline. Like it does happen. I don't think it's that bad because it's all out of love, too. Like it's not like, dude, you suck. What are you doing? It's just, hey man, be smart. Like you hurting the team right now, and that's really what matters. That's all Nick cared about. That's all any of those guys cared about. Like you hurt the team with what you did, and all that stuff I talked about was like playing for the guy next to you and all that. The reason why I can tell that guys are actually doing that, how they care about the guy next to them so much, is because you don't see a lot of selfishness usually, and then when you do see it, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like that was a very selfless or selfish act to taunt the Rams sideline for that long and that big of a moment, right? That wasn't you were hurting the team. You made it about you, and that's probably what they're gonna tell him. It's like, hey man, can't do that. Now, Riq grown ass man, he knows that, but it really is just more of so like a reminder of like what the standard is. Like, hey, everything's got to be about the team and the team. That moment was not, and yeah, some guys will go about it differently. Some guys might be like, hey, tap you on the shoulder. Hey, man, it's all right. It's cool. Just remember, protect the team. Some guys will be like, hey, dog, what the hell are you doing? Either way, they're both out of love. So I thought that was healthy. I thought that was good. He needed that. I don't want to say he needed it. I can't tell Riq what he needed, but I thought it was instructive. And I know those guys are so close that it won't be nothing that, boil over or anything. But yeah, I thought that was like, yeah, some good, healthy tension in a big spot because that could have cost him the game.
Let's go to some of these questions via DMs. Prior to the season, you guys talked about the best case scenario with this team and the things that they have to have go right for the Seahawks to be successful. Run game, Sam's play, top 5 defense, etc. Which ones hit and what was the biggest contributor?
Yeah, I mean, the defense being the number one scoring unit in the league, that's crazy. Not crazy, because I thought the defense would be really good, and Chris did too. But just it coming to fruition in the way it did, and what they were good at. Like they should shut your water off on offense. Like if you were good at a thing, they just took away the thing, with the exception of the Rams, because the Rams are good at throwing to Puka, and they come here and they throw to Puka. Like that they can still do. So that came to fruition, and I would say the other best case scenario that I don't think we discussed much was Jax becoming the best receiver in the league. Like that really helped them get through some times where they couldn't get a 4-minute drive, where their run game wasn't very good. It was like, we have Jackson, so we'll be okay. Like I was talking to Rashid Shaheed today. I was like, man, he finally caught a deep ball. Like I've been waiting for that. Like you guys listen to the pod. I really have it. Chris has too. Like I want them to hit that. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm looking at all these times on tape where you open, and then it's like half those times when you guys do got the deep shots dialed up, the ball ends up going to Jax. And I was like, actually, you know what, man? I throw the ball to Jax too. And he's like, exactly. Like, like he ain't not even mad at it because he's like, throwing the Jackson is very good for us as a team. It is. And I just didn't think that Jax would be that guy to the point where throwing it to anyone but him would be like, that's an interesting decision. And now it's like Jax is very clearly the best receiver in the league this year. That in terms of best case scenario, that never crossed my mind that like, oh, maybe Jax would just be like the best receiver in the league and they'll be fine. I didn't even have the brain power for that. There were some other things, Chris, I'm sure that were part of that best case scenario, but that one really stands out as something I'm not even sure we even considered. It was more like, is Jax a true wide receiver one or whatever, and not like, oh, is Jax like the best Seahawks receiver ever? The conversation changed and evolved very quickly when it became clear how good number 11 is.
Oh yeah, man, you noted I didn't think he'd be the best in the league. I was just hoping he could be a good number one. Like, can you go out there, draw double teams, allow Cooper Kupp to do his thing, even though he's old? And they said, nah, he's number one. We knew this all along. Kind of remind me of Pete Carroll and how he believed in genome. We were all like, what do you see in this guy? Not saying that, not comparing the two, but it was kind of, we know what Jax can do. I guess you guys are going to have to find out. And we found out. Because I don't know how many people foresaw him being the best receiver in the league with Puka Nacua. Like, those two were fighting for the number one spot. You can't go wrong with either of them. It helps that the Seahawks are moving on to the Super Bowl, and JSN put up 10 and 153 and a tug. So that's just, you got to just, hey, man, that's a big contributor there. Him being elite just helped out tremendously. And even the run game being a little better, well, actually a lot better than it has been in recent years, that just opened up things for Sam Darnold to play his game and be an elite play action passer. And then when you needed him in a big game, he was more than comfortable to handle business. This next one, another DM Mike got. It's been brought up by the players all season that the brotherhood of this team and how it's unlike anywhere else out there. The question is, how will this affect pending free agents when it comes to taking more team-friendly deals? I guess it just depends on the guy, but overall, do you feel as if players may actually take less money to stay with the system and this locker room where they feel comfortable and assuming they win the Super Bowl, they have success?
Yeah, the Super Bowl is like a gift and a curse in that regard. Everyone wants to feel, if you win, everyone wants to feel like, oh, I contributed to a Super Bowl, I should get paid accordingly. I just want to get valued. But yeah, I do think it'll help them keep some guys. What I've heard from some of the young guys, or just guys who've only played for the Seahawks, what they hear from guys who have not, who have been around the league, is how special this is. Gray Zabel talks about that a lot. He's like, this is special. This is special. I've only been here, but from what they tell me, this is unique. Nicky Maori expresses very similar sentiments. So I think that it's not as if there's no other good locker room environments across the league, but like there is sort of the grass ain't greener everywhere sentiment that I'm sure some guys will consider, in free agency, where they tell their agent, like, I want the best possible deal to stay in Seattle, to stay here with my guys. I could see like a Ken Walker, maybe, I haven't talked to Ken about this, but I could see that, maybe being the sentiment. I could see a Josh Jobe saying that, like, hey, like, I've been on some other teams, or at least he was on the Eagles. This is where, I'm home here. Kobe is another one. It was like, he hasn't played for no one else, but I could admit, like, this place is home, for him. So some of these other guys coming up, it could maybe I don't know if they take some team friendly deals. We'd have to really get into the numbers at the end of the season, but I do think that'll have some impact for sure. Because the grass is not greener. Like, you can go and if these guys need some reminders, I'm sure they've been getting them from a DeMarcus Lawrence, from a Leonard Williams, from Julian Love, from Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp. There's a lot of guys on this team that have been other places and can speak to the uniqueness of the locker room. And it sounds like they've been doing that. Guys like Eric Saubert, who's been on several teams, a lot of the vets, it sounds like, have been imparting that wisdom onto the young guys. Like, hey guys, what we have here is special. Like, this is why every locker room ain't like this, blah, blah, blah. So, who knows? And maybe some of these guys get these low ball ass offers and like, I don't care how special it is, I need my bread. That's fine too. But I actually do think it'll have some impact on guys who are like, all right, I want to stay here because this is special to me. If that means I'm losing a few million, instead of going to Tennessee or something, I stay here for $5 million less, but I'm with my gang. Yeah, I could easily see some guys doing that. I'm making up the numbers, but to the point of the question, I could definitely see that happening this year for sure.
Will Cooper Kupp be a part of the Seahawks in the upcoming regular season? And part two, Millwall's role in the future at quarterback. Is there potential that he's the future starter, or is Sam that guy now?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to roll with Sam until the wheels fall off at this point. I mean, this guy's look, man. I couldn't have been more wrong about what Sam could do in December and January. This guy's nails, man. Just been playing really good football. Just has. Um, it's just really, really, really impressive. I even like the growth of when they dropped the snap. He didn't get up and try to make a play. He's like, you know what? 2nd and 19 is better than a turnover. And that's good decision making too. Like, obviously catch the ball, but he didn't. All right, so now what? Do you compound the mistake by trying to pick it up and then a D lineman smacks you? Next thing you know, it's a scoop and score because you wanted to be a hero? No, man. 2nd and 19 ain't the end of the world. It sucks, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, any other quarterbacks, yeah, Drew, Jalen, they backups. Like Sam's the guy. If Drew wants to leave and go start, I think he's deserved that, right? But like everyone else just got to take their seat behind Sam for sure. Who was the other question about
Cooper Kupp? Is he going to be on the roster next season?
Yeah, that's a trickier one because he's under contract, but they do need to maybe move some money around, pay Shaheed. I would probably extend Jax when the season ends. I would give Jax as much money as humanly possible. Walk up to Jax's agent and say, what is it going to take? And he might say, what does Jamar Chase make? Okay, just add $500K a year more than that, and let's roll. That's basically what Charles Cross's agent did. It was like, what does Christian Darrisaw make? 100 million or 104 million? I give my guy 104.4 and we can roll. I think that's basically what they did. Do the same thing for Jax. And you got to pay Shaheed. Does that squeeze someone else out? It's very, very, very possible. I think that what they needed from Coop, he's given them so far. This will be even bigger for him as like that mentor guy. Of like, hey, I've been to a Super Bowl. This is how we got to conduct ourselves, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I would put it like less than 50% probably because now they got a lot of guys to take care of when you get this far. But who knows? Maybe he makes like 3 huge catches in a Super Bowl and they're like, you know what? He stays. That's what void years are for. I could see that too because he's just so valuable to this team. Beyond the catches. I mean, the catches are important. How many catches Coop had today?
4 for 36 and a tug.
4 for 36 in a tug, and I'm pretty sure all of them went for first downs. Is that correct? Let's see here. 39, 12 yards. Yep. 3rd and 3, 13 yards. Yep, touchdown. He had a 2nd and 19 that kind of went nowhere. And then he had the 3rd and 7 where he picks up 7. It's like he's just going to be 3rd and cup. Yeah, you could justify that on top of the mentor role. That's what void years are for, baby. That's what void years are for.
Love from Halifax, UK. Do you think after Sam's incredible performance, that he can be in the argument for the best quarterback in the league? Much love from Dan.
Ooh, I don't know, Chris. Best in the league. That's tough. Mahomes is still a thing. I think a little bit too caught up in everyone isn't like Josh Allen and even Lamar. Mahomes is still that guy, by the way, guys. I do think, though, Chris, Sam is elevating beyond the just like, remember I kind of had him in that like that Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff bucket where it's like if you build the thing around him, he can go, he can be fine. Sam did a lot of what he did this year without much of a run game, to lean on. It was really just, I'm great. Number 11's great. I'm going to throw the ball to him and we're going to win. That's a different level of quarterback to me. Like in the, Mike Sando does his quarterback tiers. That's more like a tier. I kind of would describe Sam as like a tier 3-ish guy, where Sam now feels more like, oh, okay, wait a minute now. If I just give you like a really elite receiver, you'll just be you, whereas some guys have that and don't, right? Like Kirk Cousins had that, and I think he's on the broadcast this morning on CBS. One of them broadcasts, he was on there. I was like, oh, damn, that's Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Sam, not that. So Sam's more like it's a bit more of a baller than I thought, which is crazy because guys have been telling me in the locker room on and off the record that Sam's a baller, and I just haven't been listening. I gotta be a better listener. But no, best in the league is kind of crazy, but definitely a different tier. Probably a tier like What tier would he elevate to? You think?
He's tier 2,
'Cause
man.
I'm trying to think of who else is in there though to kind of illustrate the point. I'll maybe
Oh,
say like so my tier 1, for instance, is Josh in no order, Mahomes, and probably Lamar. And if you want to,
Patrick had his own tier, and then after that, it's like 1.5.
well, yeah, basically, yeah. I do think that Lamar and Josh at their best can perform as well
Yeah.
as Patty. And then like I think like Dak is really good, Stafford's really good, Herbert is really good, Burrow is really good, and I think that if Sam continues like this, he'd be in like that level. I think he'd be in like that level, with some really good playoff performances too. Some of those guys, except actually Herbert is the only one that doesn't have a good playoff game. Those other guys do. So I'd probably say in that elevate to that tier. I would say is where I put him. And to be clear, I have Burrow in that tier too, as well. Like that, he's not a tier 1 guy to me. But yeah, anyway, it's not a Bengals pod. Let's continue.
This is from Kevin. With the Seahawks ascending to the Super Bowl under second head coach, is John Schneider now worthy of a Hall of Fame nod?
This is fascinating. I forgot that they put executives in there. Chris, what John did, yeah, man. Talk about a bounce back. Like John did just the equivalent of like if you in basketball and you get stripped at half court, and then you go down, the other guy's trying to get a layup, and you just pin his stuff off the glass. Like his 2024 offseason was just awful. It was awful. A bunch of guys that didn't make the team. They had no center. Center retired. They picked all bad linebackers, all bad safeties. Like it was just bad. You know, nice guys. Tyrell Dodson, nice dude. I got nothing bad to say about Tyrell the person. Couldn't fit the run. That's bad. You know, Kavon Wallace, nice guy. Couldn't cover. Rayshawn Jenkins, really nice dude. Wasn't tackling well. Like, which is a bunch of bad decisions. Yeah, Pharaoh Brown, Tremaine Ankrum, Connor Williams, Nick Harris. It was just bad decision. And then on top of that, Bobby and JB were playing well. Like it was just bad. So he came right back though, and just D-Law nails, Cooper Kupp nails, the Rashid Shaheed trade. Like every week, it feels like he does something to justify that deal. It's crazy. If John builds 2 different Super Bowl winners in 2 different like iterations, yeah, this definitely goes into like best GM in the league convos. He's already in those convos in like league circles. Everybody loves John, but this elevates him into it in the Seahawks Man to Man GM hierarchy, which is far more important than league circles, selfishly. But yeah, what John did this year, very deserving of Pro Football Writers of America Executive of the Year. He won that for the first time ever in his career. Good for him. Yeah, because this is special stuff. I do think the Patriots guy had a very good argument, and you guys can see why. The Patriots team is also very good. They made some good moves too, getting Milton Williams, getting Stephon Diggs, drafting Trayvon Henderson, drafting Kyle Williams, some other moves on defense. But anyway, yeah, I think John's making a very, very good case. Particularly, he sheds the like, oh, Pete Carroll had some magic with like having recruited a lot of guys in college, so he was able to help with the drafts earlier in the year. No, he just did this without Pete. And that I think is, some of these guys are Pete guys, but these last couple drafts are not, and they've been very good too. So yeah, John's doing his thing. Yeah, I'd put him in if they go win a bowl.
This is from the Ayer over on Blue Sky. What were the top what it looked like moments from the offense and defense in this game from your perspectives?
Okay, I have some, but I want to see if they match what yours are. What they look. This is what it looks like. Oh, actually, before you go, let me explain the genesis of the question. We had the homie Kyron Samuels on, and we had him on in draft time. He does a lot of draft scouting on SI, former player, and the way he like to describes guys who are like perfect prospects damn near is like, this guy is what it looks like. Like you watch a guy who sets the edge really well, rushes the passer, has violent hands, he can bend, he's flexible. It's like, you know what? That's what it looks like. He's what one of them ones looks like. That's kind of how I love that language from Kyron because it's super cool. So I want to hear what your moments are. Let me see if they match what mine are from the this is what it looks like today.
We had two that we talked about earlier, so I'll just go with the JSN catch where he goes up top, hits the cornerback to a post, and he takes a shot, and he's able to hang onto the football. Just a beautiful, well ran route. I know Ty Lockett and Doug Baldwin are probably cheesing because that looks so reminiscent of how they do things when they run in routes and how they just paint a photo using their head movement, hips, and it's just flawless. He was really just coasting on the route. It didn't even look like he was trying, but it was just so well designed. He ran it perfectly, and Sam was like, oh, DB's doing circles. Easy money. And delivered a strike to him. So, we know we all are aware of how talented JSN is, but to see that play, it was just stamp it. Like that.
All right, what you got? You got one on defense?
Defense, man, you know what? He didn't come up with the interception. He dropped it. It was the actual play where Riq starts talking to the sideline. He just dropped it. But that was just beautiful. He undercut it. That was a play that if he picks it off, he might be able to take it back to the house and just the stadium erupts. And that's, again, Riq just in position, jumps it. He just couldn't haul it in. And he let the sideline know, and that cost him. That was a 14-point swing there?
Yeah,
well,
huge.
excuse me. It'd be I think it'd just be a touchdown, just 7 points, because if he picks it off, that goes back to, I guess, how would you quantify that, I guess?
Well, it's we don't know what they do unless he scores on the pick, but it was definitely it had points attached to it for sure. That was
that's
at very least a 7-point swing.
I was trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, well, it has to be at least a 7 point. We'd assume the Seahawks would score, but maybe they don't get anything out of it. But anywho, that play was, yeah, man. Riq, when he's in, he's locked in, which is why he's so talented. He just couldn't haul it in, and then unfortunately, want to let the Rams sideline know. So those are the two plays that I would go with.
Yeah, so Riq's PBU is probably the best individual coverage play of the game, which is why it sucks so much that it was like negated by a taunting penalty. That was an elite play. Nicky Mawari, I think, also stands out to me for what he did. Like, actually, it's funny. Here they go on the broadcast again. Like, back-to-back plays he had to end the first half. PBU on the Puka out route. PBU on the running back out route. Like,
PBU on leverage too.
Yeah, well, specifically this sequence in the first half that really back-to-back, because it was like he's out leveraged both times, just completely. It's unreal. And I'm going to just cheat and throw in a bonus play because I know we're not going to get to it in the questions. The Rams tried to run their like signature fly sweep to the receiver. They tried to run that with Puka, and boy, Drake Thomas hit the hell out of Puka. And that is what it looks like when you're talking about running and hitting. I felt that. Like that was a hit. Drake
when his helmet came off.
What, did his helmet come off on that?
Well, yeah, Julian Love came through and hit him pretty high and kind of just wrestled it off, and it popped up, and Leonard Williams had some few words, and they was barking back and forth. Puka had no helmet on, but maybe it wasn't. Nonetheless,
it could have been. I couldn't see, but yeah, I'm looking at they're showing these Nicky Mawari plays back to back on the replay. That's where I'm at in the game. Those were nuts, and then the Drake play. I think I have to go back and watch the tape, but like. Jax's touchdown was, I thought, just such big boy quarterback play from Sam. Like it's a gotta have it spot. The pocket's collapsing. I think it's Braden Fisk. It just runs right through Anthony Bradford, and you can tell because Sam's right-handed, and so like his right side is a dominant side. So I know he can see that there's white coming. You could quarterbacks call it seeing color. You can know he could see color coming at him. He said, "You know what?" And he almost took off. He almost stepped up and ran. It's like, no. Big boy time. Stand right here and fire that joint to Jack. I was like, that's perfect QB play. That is, I noticed that in real time. Because, like, I think Charles is going against Verse, right, to his left. So he can feel that because Charles is giving up a little ground, but he's not beat, so he's fine. So you're good. Trust your left tackle. Trust your $100 million left tackle. Listen to your feet. Who cares that your right guard got beat? Stand there and make a throw. And that's textbook. On top of the ball that you're talking about, the Jack's play, that was great ball too. But I thought the touchdown was just like big boy quarterback play. Like, yes, the pocket is collapsing. Stand and deliver. And he did exactly that. It was absolutely beautiful.
This next one is from John. And what feels like a great, truly team effort, who is one player you feel has not received as much love in the national media NFL coverage that they deserve?
Ooh, that's a good one. From the national media. Man, there's a lot of this is gonna sound crazy given the taunting call. But there's not that many corners who have been covering as good as Riq this year. Like, you can't name me 10. And we can just go tape for tape, cut up for cut up, route for route. There ain't 10 guys who've been covering better than Riq this year. There's just not, including guys who made the Pro Bowl. I can go look at the All Pro list, look at them too. Like, I think Riq's been covering just as good as Spoon. Spoon's All Pro. Like, I think both the guys in Philly that made it, I think it was DeJean and then Quignon, Patrick Surtain, like Stingley, I think were the other one. Like, those guys are covering well. So is Riq, man. So is Riq. So I'm talking about for the body, not just today. It's like the season in totality. Riq had 2 bad plays in week 1 and just strapping. Pretty much said the numbers say it, the tape says it. It's just tough for when you're not a starter to get that recognition, because then it's like your own team is saying you're not even that nice. In theory, like, they're not even starting you. So how can anyone else give you that type of love? I think Dante Jackson with the Chargers going through the same thing. Like, his numbers were nuts this year. His tape was good from what I've been able to see, but he's like he's rotating with, I think, Cam Hart over there. It's just like, well, how can anyone show you love if your own team don't think you like that, with how they're using you in the rotation? So it's not really totally the national media's fault in that regard, because how can you show love to like a rotational player, so to speak? But if we're just talking about tape for tape, yeah, ain't 10 guys better. I think, Chris, if I had to do an unofficial top 10 off the top of my head, I'm in no order. From this year, I probably got Derek Stingley, Patrick Surtain, Quignon, Kamari Lassiter, who's number 4 on the Texans, the guy opposite Sting. Riq. Who else been strapping up this
Cooper
year?
DeJean.
Coop been strapping up. It ain't many. I'll take Riq over guys like J.C. Horn. It ain't many guys that was really, really strapping like Riq this year. Like, I think Dante was playing really well. Christian Gonzalez in New England playing really well. I've watched some tape on him, obviously, because he's playing in the bowl. But yeah, the point is, it ain't 10. It ain't a lot of guys. Like, he definitely should get more. Maybe he will this week. I don't know, or these next couple weeks. But he's been playing as well as any corner in the league for sure.
Our guy Thorsten from Germany. Crazy game, guys. Of course, there's still a game to play in 2 weeks, but with all the stakes for Sunday's game against the Rams, did this almost feel like winning the Super Bowl?
Oh, hell no. They lose in 2 weeks, it'd be devastation. Oh, it'd be awful. It'd be awful. Because they're better than the Patriots, so there's that. But just the emotions of it, like, it just feels like, not you did it all for nothing, but that would hurt, especially because I really think for them to, and this is another reason why I like their mindset, because let me see if this makes sense, Chris. I feel like for them to lose the Super Bowl, somebody has to play far, like some position group or some side of the ball has to play like far below their standard, because I feel like if people just, every side of the ball just plays to what their standard is, they're better than the Patriots. Like, if the O-line just plays to its standard, Ken plays to his standard, Sam plays like he's been playing, no better, no worse, just play how he's been playing. The defense plays to its standard when it's not playing the Rams, and they win that game pretty handily. I feel like if they lose, somebody played substandard ball and let the other side down, like whether that's the tight ends or Jason Myers mentioned some kicks or just whatever, bad punts, bad special teams coverage. I just feel like somebody would have had to play well below. I'm talking like well below their standard. I don't. It's hard for me to see that. It really is hard for me to see that. So if that happened in 2 weeks, it would really hurt. Like, I'd have a lot of quotes from the locker room for somebody or some player or some position group being like, yeah, I let my guys down today. Like if they had this performance, if they give up this many passing yards, for instance, you'd be like, wow, man, this great defense got all the way to the bowl and got carved up by Drake May. Like you know that would be uncharacteristic. So yeah, as great as this was, there are a lot of guys in that locker room who are like, yeah, this is what's up, but we got one more, and that's how they're going to treat it. Because if they go out there and don't handle business next Sunday, it'll be. I don't even want to go in that locker room. I will because it's my job, but it'll be the worst locker room I've ever been in, I'm sure.
We got similar questions here from Eric Wall and Pratik. First part is, what do you think about the culture of this current team compared to the 2013-14 Seahawks? And then the part two of it that I'm kind of throwing in there, what has Mike Macdonald done to set this team's culture? And what role does it play in having such a solid playoff record or road record?
Yeah, so the second part answers the first part. So to make this the most efficient answer possible, Mike is very clear in what he wants from everybody. He's very clear about what the vision is for every position group, every side of the ball. He's just like, all right, here's our standard. Here's how we get to the standard every single day. Like all these cliches and stuff are just very, very clear. Like even an acronym like EAT, like EAT, they wear it on their hats. They got shirts, everything. They also make hats and shirts for everything on this team. It's unreal. There's a hat and a shirt for everything. It really is. And hoodies and all that. Socks. EAT is one of them. It's for effort, angles, and tackling. Right? Okay. Well, Mike, those are duh. Everyone wants that. But it's just as simple as if you just emphasize that every day. I remember, I think it was Jordan Brooks said one time, it really stuck with me. He said, you get what you emphasize. And that's true. That's what is this team good at? Playing with effort, taking good angles, and tackling. Oh, why is that? Oh, because they wear freaking hats that say effort, angle, and tackling every day, And Mike's just he's clear. That's a really good example of just the clarity of his messaging. Play with good effort, take good angles, and we're going to tackle. Yeah, and then it spilled into the offense. It was like, all right, we're going to play with good effort. We're going to make them take bad angles, and we're going to run through tackles, right? We're going to fall forward. So I think it helps set the culture there. Mike carried the baton from Pete in terms of like, all right, everyone gets to be themselves, dress how you want, talk how you want, love each other, whatever. Just be you. We don't need everybody to like show up in a suit and tie for the road games or whatever, like that dumb stuff Ron Rivera had those guys doing that one year with the Panthers. Like, no, just be you. Dress how you want, talk how you want, eat what you want, whatever, drive whatever car. Just when you come in here, though, just be about each other, play hard, and we'll figure out the rest. So, but I think the clarity and like the messaging and just reinforcing of it, it's like almost brainwashing damn near. It's like, all right, 12 is 1. All right, what's that mean? Blah, 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 how you execute that. And I think the other thing, it was part of that I wrote about this too, is they show the good plays, the effort plays. Like everything ain't got to be Jax's, touchdowns or a big tackle. Sometimes just like, look at how Nick tackled right here to make this a 3rd and 8. So we could keep, instead of if that guy had fell forward, it's a 3rd and 5. That's a huge play. Then he'll show the 3rd and 8 where they got the stop because they were able to do this certain blitz coverage or whatever. And then he'll show how that all works together. And be like, see, look, even if you're not making a highlight play, it's a highlight play to us because it was good effort or it was what we teach. All that type of stuff matters. And then I think the last thing, because I think what Pete would do is it makes sense. He would show like highlight plays from practice, which is fine. It worked. What Mike will do is like, he'll like, all right, look at how you see how we had 8 guys in this picture while we're tackling the ball carrier. That's us. See how we got 9 guys pushing the pile at the end of this run? That's what I want. Like the effort, the energy, the togetherness, and that fuels guys. And the last thing, I just think Mike rewards people who put in the work. There's been so many games this year where such and such has a big game, and it's not surprising to anyone because they put in the work. It's like, okay, Ty Okada, if you're on your stuff every day and you're practicing hard, I'm going to play you. All right, Jake Thomas, if you're on your stuff every day and you're coming to work with the right attitude, then I'm going to play you. Oh, Jake Bobo, if you're on your stuff and you're coming with the right attitude, in the playoff game, we'll draw up a touchdown double move for you. Like
Mm.
to do that, just reward. It's like these guys put in the work, so I'm gonna make sure they get on the field because they've proven they can help us. Whether you're a practice squad guy, you've been inactive, a healthy scratch a few times, or whoever you are, and guys notice that because it makes them like, all right, it can be my day any day. I just got to come up and ball. So there's a lot of ways he sets the culture, and I think some of that is different than Pete, which is fine because Pete won a bowl. But that I think has a lot to do with how clarity, the reinforcing of the standard, like rewarding hard work, rewarding consistency. Mike has a lot of ways of making guys want to run through a wall from him. I'm actually probably going to write about this week, so I appreciate this question.
Don Melton asks, "What's a Woolen contract even look like?"
Ooh, that's a fun one. What do you think, Chris? I'm saying, I feel like it's got to start with a 2.
I'm guessing anywhere from 25 to 29 mil a year.
Yeah.
JC Horn he was making 25 this season, so you just stated that you'll take Riq over him. So, you're throwing out like, hey, 29. Let's start there. Is that, can I get 29 and a half a year?
Yeah, I think remember we got that question earlier about like, are maybe guys going to stay because they like the environment here? That'd be a very interesting one for Riq because Riq's probably the most attractive potential free agent that they have. Because how many teams are looking like, well, we could use one of those, one of those 6'4" guys with long arms and is twitchy. Riq would be the number 1 corner on like 20 teams. So he should have a market. Whereas I don't think as other guys will have as robust a market. Like, go look at some of these corners in the playoffs. He would upgrade a lot of playoff teams. Like Riq would be. Let's go through this real fast. I don't know if it would be that high. If he gets the number that high, he would not be with the Seahawks. But Riq would be the best corner on the Jags, the Steelers, the Bills. Yeah. So the only AFC teams he wouldn't be the best corner on would be Denver, New England, and then Houston. And then maybe the Chargers. I'm not sure. Like I said, Dante played really well. And you look at the other side, he'd be the best corner on Chicago, him and Jalen Johnson. I think he'd be the best corner on the Panthers. I know JC Horn, everyone's high on him. I get it. Definitely the best corner on the Rams. The Rams should pay Riq, if nothing else. Best corner on the Niners, and then best corner on the Packers as well. And then, he'd be the best corner on most of these teams that did not make the playoffs in the NFC for sure. And in the AFC, with the exception of guys like Sauce, maybe Trent McDuffie, Denzel Ward in Cleveland. Riq would be the best corner on a lot of teams. So I don't know. I'd probably have to start with a 2 for sure. And if it does, that probably means not coming back here. If he wants to do that, because he's worth that. He should have a market, no matter what happens in the Super Bowl.
Phil Birnbaum, do you believe Kubiak will be with the Seahawks next season?
Chris, if we'd have got this question before today, I'd be like, yeah, probably. And then I was thinking it during the game. I couldn't tweet it because I was too busy. I was like, Clint should get a job just for fixing the screen game. This might have been the first game where every screen worked.
Yeah.
All of them.
It's been a while.
They all worked. Like, I don't know if the one Bobo dropped was a screen or not, but every screen that I could tell was a screen, they all worked. To Ken, to Jax. They even did that thing we've been begging for where you just see the corners playing off and you just throw it to the guy. Yeah. We love when they do that. We've been asking for that for years since Russ and DK. And it all worked. I was like, yo, I would hire Clint. if I was watching this, I'm the Raiders sitting there like, nobody's going to take this job. I give it to Clint Kubiak. Oh, the Cleveland Browns, no one's going to take this job. I give it to Clint Kubiak. I don't think Clint would take the Cardinals job. That's the worst job in the league. It's like, can you imagine? You sit there and you're looking at the Cardinals roster and you're like, I got to deal with, I got no quarterback. I got to deal with Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Mike McDonald. No, thank you.
No thanks.
I would. I'll stay where I'm at. Like if I was the Raiders, though, I'd throw a bunch of money at Clint and see if he would take that. And then, Chris, I think what did it for me was the design on the Jax touchdown, like the corner route from your number one receiver starting in the backfield. Come on, man. Oh my! I mean, designing plays isn't everything for a coach, but I think those are the. Am I missing an opening? Does somebody else have an opening? Browns. The Bills. The Bills still have an opening.
Get a chance to
Yeah.
coach Josh Allen. That'd be fun.
Yeah. If I was the Bills or the Raiders, well, Raiders, I think I've already talked to Clint. If I was the Bills as well, who I know haven't talked to him yet, that would for sure be like a call I'd be trying to make. Like, hey, what's up? Come interview with us. So if Clint wants that Raiders job, it should be his. I don't know enough about him to know if he'd want to move his family to Vegas right now, but if I'm the Raiders, I definitely put him at the top of my list, probably.
Mar MD. Has anyone asked JSN where he got his route running style from?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I will say this. That's a smooth cat. You get a look at his touchdown celebration, Chris. You see that? The little dance, little dance on him.
I didn't see the dance.
I gotta text that to you. That's a good play.
I saw the one he did with Anthony Bradford last week. That was smooth.
That was fire.
Yeah, damn.
You know how on point they gotta be to coordinate that play or that dance when they're not looking at each other. Like that's some synchronized like ballroom dancing type stuff.
Swimming, all of it, you know.
Yeah, no, that was we got to put that in the show. I got a clip of it. I'll get it to you. We can clip that up. I'm also texting you right now. Damn, I have 1,000 unread text messages. This is unreal. I can't even find our thread. Yeah, for real, my phone was blowing up after the game. I feel like I won the goddamn bowl. But I just text you the Jax play I was talking about. But yeah, this dude is smooth. Jax is the best natural route runner I've seen in a Seahawks uni in a long time. I think it was when you were on the radio, I think with Puck, I think one of the running jokes was that like you were like, yeah, that's Steve Largent stuff. Miss me with that. I don't want to see anybody running routes in the 70s. Imagine this is what Largent would look like in the 70s because this Jax is incredible.
Yeah, he's smooth. The biggest thing for me in that Puckett situation was he swore up and down Chad Johnson was not a better route runner than Steve Largent. And I said, have you seen Chad run routes? He's like, no, Chris, I don't need to. Steve Largent's, he's just better. He's a slow white dude that ran a 4.7. I'm like, that's great. Chad ran a 4.4 and his feet were like machine guns. And he would get open. Like there's clips of him just rerouting DBs having him do 3.6 at the line of scrimmage. At the line of scrimmage, he ran 3 yards and a DB is running in circles. If that's not elite route running, I don't know what is. So I had Cliff Averill in on it. I was like, Cliff, is Chad Johnson not one of the greatest route runners of all time? Not saying that Steve Largent wasn't, but my thing was Chad is in the top 5. Like that's not up for debate. And Puck was not hearing that. And I'm like, well, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Like you want me to go watch YouTube of Steve Largent? I can do that. But there's also a film of Chad Johnson. And if you're not going to discredit a guy for his speed, he just does it at a different level. I'm not taking anything away from Largent because I know he was elite. There's a reason why he was all pro and led the league in receiving for, I think, 2 years in a row. So I understand that.
1985, he led the league in
85.
receiving.
Okay. So
yeah, he was all pro. He's the last receiver to be all pro for the Seahawks before Jax. 40-year gap.
There you have it. Yeah, disgusting, by the way.
Gap. Yeah, no,
But
Jax is incredible.
He's special, man. Jax, smooth.
I'm very prepared for my son is 6 months old, and I'm very prepared 30 years from now when he comes to me talking about, Dad, this is the best receiver ever, and we arguing. I'm like, son, I'm gonna need you to sit here right next to me. We're gonna watch some Jackson Smith and Jigba film together, buddy, and we're gonna argue. I can already tell Jax is gonna be the guy when I'm older and be like, look here, whoever this new kid is that y'all say is it, let me tell you young whippersnappers about a guy named Jackson Smith and Jigba. I can already tell because this is the most natural guy I've seen do this in the league. Like him, Justin Jefferson, CD, Jamar, like the way they get open is just it's ridiculous. Yeah, Jax is right up there with those guys.
1000%. This next one, we'll go with this. It's from Roland. What do you think of the head coaching matchup in the Super Bowl between Vrabel and McDonald?
You know what's fascinating about this, and we'll maybe dive more into about it as it gets closer to the game. But what we have, Chris, is very rare. We have two defensive-minded head coaches, and I believe that Mike Sando, who runs his Pick Six column at the Athletic, should be out by the time this pod comes out. You don't really get defensive-minded coaches winning the Super Bowl, whether they're calling plays or not, like in history of the league. So now we got two. I know Vrabel doesn't call the plays, but that's very fascinating to me. There, we got two defensive-minded head coaches, and one of them's calling the plays. I can't remember the last time a defensive coach called the plays for a team that won the Super Bowl. That I have to go look that up, see when the last time that happened, if ever, because that's pretty impressive. It's probably Belichick, but if it wasn't Belichick, then I don't know who it was. So that part I think is really fascinating to me. I'd love to know why that is. Why offensive guys seem to be kind of dominating, the peak of the sport in that way. I don't have a good answer for that. Like I said, I'll do some research on it. So that really stands out to me. I think both of these coaches. We're not going to fully preview it now. That's why we're doing this question at the end of the show. But one thing that really stands out to me with both coaches is that they always are trying to find every little advantage that they can. Special teams, short yardage. If you go read about like how Vrabel like wins, like he just does every little, like he understands the rules really well and just always trying to find something. Like I said, whether it's special teams, short yardage, like they just always trying to find a way of like bending a rule or trying to understand something, trying to maximize every opportunity. Vrabel's teams they were good about that in Tennessee as well. And the way they connect with their players. Like Vrabel really loves those guys. I don't know how much people have been following the Patriots. I read a lot of our guy Chad Graff at the Athletic, so I'm just kind of up on them. So that stands out. I wouldn't get more into the two teams, but two defensive-minded coaches, always chasing edges. Coach speak, and then two guys who really connect with their players. We have a very high level coaching matchup in the Super Bowl. McDonald's going to have to do some of his best stuff to beat these guys because Vrabel's going to have those guys ready to go.
Speaking of Vrabel, real quick, one thing I noticed is how he loves every single player. So at the end of the game, after a win, obviously, he waits in the tunnel and daps up every single player. And he has handshakes for some of them is just a nice little dap and hug. That's a coach that he's with all 1 through 60, whatever, 53, however you want to look at it, practice squad guys, all of them. They all get love at the end of the game. Daps them up, gives them a hug. So that's just, that stood out to me like, yo, both of these coaches have their culture figured out, and they're doing it their way, and their way got them to this point. So that's going to be cool to see, and it'll be a fun one for sure because these are two defensive-minded guys that are, well, how do we stop their offense? So this will be a fun one. This next one is from the Big Ginge. When do you think the Niners and Rams give up and look elsewhere at head coach because of McDonald, i.e. the Pete Carroll effect?
Good question. I think that the next time one of them doesn't make the playoffs, they're probably gone. I could see that. It would be a little tricky for McVay if that's next year. But depending on why they don't make it, if it's not just a bunch of injuries like in 2022, you probably see it. You could see it maybe. Definitely think that would happen for Shanahan if they just don't make it next year. If they both make it again, like all three teams are in again, then yeah, I think they'll keep running it back. But you can see now in the league, it's just less patience. Guys are dropping. Sean McDermott getting fired is kind of crazy to me. I can't believe their owner's like, our roster was good enough. Coaching was bad. I was like, have you seen your defensive roster? What's wrong with you? Your DBs stink. Anyway. Not a Bills podcast. But yeah, I think the next time somebody misses the playoffs between the two of them, it could get ugly depending on why they miss the playoffs. If their defense is just god awful, maybe they get some grace because that's not their side of the ball. Like if whoever they hire to replace Robert Saleh just stinks, maybe they're like, let's have Shanahan, try it again. Or Chris Shula leaves, the guy he hires to replace him stinks. Yeah, maybe you give Sean another run. But it's going to happen, I think, eventually. I do think that Mike will kind of get the ball rolling for teams to be like, or owners to be like, all right, how can we beat this Mike McDonald guy? For sure. I do think that will become a thing at some point. Yes, the Pete Carroll effect. Pete got a lot of coaches in the NFC West fired. And then Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan have done it as well. Like we joked about earlier, that Arizona job sucks. No one should take that. You might ask me
Mm.
and Chris to coach the Cardinals. I'd say no.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't
I
taking
am
that
good.
job.
You're gonna fire me
Hell
within the first month.
Bro, we ain't got no quarterback.
Can't
It's
throw the
over.
ball, can't run the ball. Yeah, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'll stay doing Seahawks man to man. I don't even need that'd be a big pay bump too. Like I'm good. I'm good. I'll pass.
We got a pair left, Mike, and we'll start with Ryan Turner at Turns 44. What a ride. The Hawks gave McDonald a 6-year deal. I think this gave fans an indication that the front office and staff are going to be given the runway to build the team in their vision. How much of that was the building blocks of where the Seahawks are now?
Yeah, I mean, man, I think that I would love to just give John Schneider a bunch of beers and have him really be honest about like the vision for the team, go player by player. Because right now, when Mike McDonald talks about it, it's like, yeah, John had the vision and his leadership, and it's all like coach speak bland stuff. But what it feels like John was trying to tell people or like trying to rebuild is like, don't need what people think we need, like a superstar quarterback to be the guy and do all these things. It really is like, no. I want to be able to run the ball. I want my defense to whip ass. Quarterbacks need to make a few throws here and there and we'll be straight. And then I think what John also learned really well, and that quarterback thing is also why he's like, I'm tired of paying Russ $1 bazillion. That's just not working. Which it's fine. The other thing I think John learned really well, this is really important, is what type of person he was bringing in the building. He whiffed on that quite a bit. And he whiffed on it contract-wise. Like he ignored the interpersonal dynamics of like, John, they can Google each other's contracts. If you pay this guy, and this guy think he better than that guy, that's going to matter. Should it? No. But it does. If he's highest paid this, and I think I'm better, and when it's time for me to become highest paid this, take care of me, and same thing. You trade for Percy Harvin and you cash him out immediately, and all the other receivers is like, yo, dog, all this blocking we've been doing, why this guy who ain't played a snap already getting his back? That's why John has never again traded for a dude and made him the highest paid player on the team, because there's a personal dynamic there. And then he just brought in the wrong type of guys as well, some selfish dudes and things like that, and guys who just didn't fit the scheme, or I'll never forget that one guy. I'm not gonna say who it was. He came up to me, or we were talking one day. He had made a good play. He's like, yeah, dog, I've been trying to do that. All they got me doing is setting edges. He was hot. He just went on this tangent, about being misused and everything in the scheme. And there are probably some guys who feel that way, but they're not dumb enough to say it to me. Now, I've never revealed who that guy is, so I guess it's not that dumb. But they don't even verbalize it, So I think John's done a good job of that. He's hit on the personal parts of this. D-Law is the right type of guy for the Seahawks. Nicky Mawari is the right type of guy. Gray Zabel is the most offensive lineman in NFL history. Like the mustache, the name Gray Zabel, being from a small town, farm white guy who drinks Busch Light. Like this is like the perfect lineman, for this team, So he just has a bunch of that. He's starting to get that right a little bit more. I do think John was like chasing talent. I was just talking with some guys in the media room about like that was the biggest issue with the Malik McDowell pick, is that you couldn't predict he was going to get on the ATV and break his face. But honestly, you could have predicted that he was going to do something irresponsible that put himself over the team, because that's what the word was about him at Michigan State. They chose to ignore that because they thought they were getting a top 10 talent with pick 35. Like, ooh, bang for our buck. No, you brought the wrong type of guy in the building. That's your fault. And then there were signs at Michigan State, so there's a lot less of that. It feels like, it's more so like you look at their free agent class this year. Aiden Dirty already knows D-Law. Clint Kubiak already knows Sam Darnold. Jake Peets already knows Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp's got a good rep around the league. Like it was guys that people could vouch for their character as people, not just ball players, and that was a big part of why they're having this success. Like, how can we get the right people in here So that's been part of the vision. It's been poorly carried out before this year, but they've done a good job, and obviously hit on some first round picks too. Hitting on Murph, hitting on Spoon, hitting on Jax, hitting on Gray, like Bing, 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 Charles. They're just on it. But John has learned from his mistakes, I think, and that's been really important for carrying out the vision.
Last one comes from Holly. Mike, what's been one of your favorite stories or memories of covering and being around this team this season?
Good question, Holly. I appreciate you. There's a lot. I'll speed date through some of them. I think getting to know Ernest has been great. I really do appreciate him. I appreciate the way he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And how he's like the heartbeat of the team, how he's always paying tribute to his pops, how he cares about his teammates. I didn't get to know him too much last year, and this year, there's been a level of like trust that he's, has built up to be, me to have some really cool conversations with him. So there's that as well. Seeing Kobe's success, that's been really cool. I just know how much Kobe loves this stuff, man. Like he's just, we'll talk about guys who just love football. That's Kobe. So covering that has been really cool. And then I think part of me, just because I'm really happy that some of the older guys have come back and just got to be along for the ride. Like I talk to Shaquille probably once a week, because I'm just happy he back. He don't play, but I'm just like, man, I talk to Quandre as often as I can see him. It was his birthday on Thursday, I want to say, and just I'm glad he gets to be a part of this. He's one of the people I talked to today, man. I was like, I'm just glad you're gonna be in the Super Bowl. Like probably not gonna play, but it's fine. Same thing with Shaq, because they laid part of the foundation for what. I think what we're seeing here. So just being around some of those guys has been just super cool. Them trusting me to open, guys opened up off the record, on the record. It's the best part of the job, to get to know the people, and then you see how the stuff happens on the field the way it does. Like good things happen for people like a Eric Saubert, who are just selfless as hell, who take pride in owning the goddamn C gap. So yeah, good things are going to happen for you. You're going to get that 2-point conversion. You're going to be first catch of the day or whatever. Good things happen for guys like Jake Bobo, who like, I'm not active today. And the next game, I'm not active. The next game, I'm not active. But I'm active today. So when they throw me the ball, I better catch that thing. Just that attitude. And I'm going to run down on special teams, and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to, on punt coverage, so, but because I know what those guys are like to get to that point, that's how I can speak to the culture of the team so much the way I do, without giving you like names all the time. I just learn more and more about how guys are wired. So when bad things happen to guys, like I do feel real bad. Good things happen to guys that genuinely feel happy. So yeah, like Quandre being back, Shaq being back, seeing Kobe like get the ball out, after he's missed basically a year with the toe injury. Getting to know Ernest, it's been so much. There's so many stories, and there's still a bunch to be written too. But those are probably just some of my favorites. And then the last one, probably just learning about how Jax is wired. He's just a really nice guy. Jax is cool. He's just I don't know if we ever had him on the pod. I don't know how good of an interview would be, but he's just a really nice guy. It just is. And the line he tiptoes between confident and like humble, it's really cool. He just finds cool ways to articulate that, whether he knows it or not. It's just really cool. Like before every game, he looks in the camera and says, "I'm built for this." And I asked him, "Why do you say that every week?" He was like, "Because I'm built for this." And I was like, it's an arrogant answer, but it's right. It's the perfect answer because he's right. And then you watch the film and you're like, you know what? He is built for this. That was a dumb question by me. I should have just looked at the tape. But yeah, there's a ton. I'm not going to go on and on. But yeah, those are some of my, I may be missing something, but those have really just stood out. Just like getting to know guys, being around their stories, learning who they are, seeing the work they put in, seeing their attitude when they do it. And then when things happen, when Jake has that play today, I'm like, I'm not surprised Jake Bobo ran a good ass route and caught the ball, because Jake runs good ass routes and catches the ball. You know, whether he's active for 5 weeks in a row or deactive for 5 weeks in a row, you throw the ball to Jake, he's gonna get open and catch it. So, thank you, Holly, for that question, because I'm glad I got to share some of that.
Well, look at that. We appreciate all the love and support. What a season it's been. What a ride from week 1 to the Super Bowl. Here we come. Seahawks Man to Man. We appreciate all the love and support. TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. If I'm missing anything, I apologize. But thank you guys for leaving voicemails, always coming out with questions. It's a blast, man. And we get to do it one more time before the big game. So I know Mike probably might have some books out there for San Fran. So, you know, tap in with your boy. He got more books.
I do. I think the publishers are just reprinting more hardcovers too. I know we got paperbacks dropping on February 3rd. So you need a book, hit me up, please. We ain't going nowhere. Plenty of preview content for the Super Bowl as well. I'm gonna try to hit up some guests and stuff this week too before I head out to Santa Clara. I can't start my paternity leave till the season ends. So who needs to be a dad, right? Cover the Super Bowl. So I'm excited to delay my paternity leave and keep working, keep grinding. So appreciate the love. Chris is right. Hit us up on all the platforms. Hit me up if you want a book. Enjoy your week. Your Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl, and we'll have more content this week. I promise. Appreciate the love. We will catch you guys next time.